Namaste and welcome to week 5 of our 6-week series on the foundations of Hatha, where we're covering some of the foundational postures of Yogasana, Hatha technique, Hatha style, and just some basic breathing exercises. And the reason why is I haven't gone into too many different techniques of pranayam is because I really wanted to reinforce the profound benefit and accessibility of simple, focused breathing, of just breathing with awareness, how wonderful that is and how beneficial it is. And we don't always have to, when we're stressed, go, oh, I must do Nadi Shodhan. Like you can be in your car and stressed and just regulate your nervous system by dropping into that nice quiet space of focused breathing and just soften and breathe. It is that simple. And then as you really just dive into your own personal practice as well, knowing that your practice can be simple and highly beneficial and profound. It doesn't always have to be made up of official techniques or complex techniques. It can be the simple things done consistently with intention and awareness can have such profound effects. So let it be easy. And the more we train in the simple techniques that are easy to access when we are in those really stressed out times where we're in fight or flight, or you've got so much on your plate, you've got cognitive load, or your emotions are clouding your judgment, you don't even have to think. The postures come naturally when you get on the mat, and the breath comes naturally when you need it most. So ideally, that's what our practice can offer. So today we're going to be moving into forward and backward bending. And with our forward bends, we are obviously folding forward, and it's more of a lengthening through the spine and a kind of closing and internalizing experience. And as we move into back bending, it's extension and strengthening and opening, and it's more of an invigorating experience. So you can have a look and observe those two experiences as we flow through the movements and be able to add them to your own practice as needed if you want to elicit those effects. So we'll get started with some focused breathing, sitting comfortably and allowing your eyes to close or keeping them half open and just gazing gently at a point in front of you. And just dropping your shoulders down away from your ears, hands resting on your lap. I'm sitting on a bolster today, and I can tell you it is heavenly. The ease in my lower back is wonderful. So it's always an option to sit on a block, a blanket, or a bolster to give a little more lift in your spine and a little bit more ease through the hips. And just letting your legs be soft and heavy. And starting to become aware of your breath, and simultaneously just bringing awareness to your body. Lifting gently into your spine and softening into your face. And soft through your belly. And setting the tone for our practice of calm and peacefulness. And moving into some breath awareness. So not needing to deepen your breath just yet, just inhaling and exhaling. Bringing your mind's eye to your breath, following it in your mind's eye, following its journey in through your nose, down your throat and into your lungs, and following it back out again. And in your peripheral awareness, feeling the sensations of your belly slightly expanding and contracting, of your collarbones gently lifting and lowering. And this is the awareness we want to bring to our asana practice as well, is to have that nice anchoring in the breath, but still staying attuned to the physical sensations and coordination of our body. Now that you're tuned into your breath, just meeting yourself where you're at today. If you feel like you want to deepen your breath a little, go ahead. We'll take 2 more rounds of the breath. And moving from here into 5 rounds of Goranga breathing. So as we say the sound, listening to the sound and drawing it down into your heart. And as you repeat the sound or say the sound out loud, you're really saying or chanting from your heart. So let's exhale completely. Take a breath in. And say the sound. Goranga. Inhale again. Goranga. Continue. Goranga. Goranga. One last time. Goranga. And come back to your regular breathing pattern. So in this way, when we chant the mantra, we're creating this beautiful feedback loop where we're chanting from our heart and projecting the sound out, and the sound can come back in through our ears, into our mind, and we draw it again down into our heart. And opening your eyes, waking up your body and coming over onto all fours. Because we're going to be working on the spine, we'll just start with a little bit of spine mobility and awareness. So working through some cycles of cat-cow with your wrists under your shoulders and your knees under your hips, and your fingers and thumbs are spread nice and wide. And gently press down into the floor so that you've got a bit of stability through your shoulders. And we're going to start with small movements and really focus on visualizing your spine and visualizing each vertebra articulating into one another. So starting by inhale, tilting your pelvis forward, looking forward, gentle arch in your back. Exhaling, tucking the tailbone under, drawing the chin in toward the chest, rounding through your spine. Starting small and then slowly in your own time, naturally increasing the size of the movements, moving with your breath. Inhale, arching your back, looking forward. Exhale, looking toward your navel, rounding through your spine, press the floor away. Taking your time with each breath. Seeing if you can move your spine in a wave-like motion. One last time each way. And come back to center. If your wrists are getting sore here, you can make fists and place your fists to the floor so that your wrists are open, and it should ease some of the pressure from the wrist joints. So from here, we're going to go from side to side as well. So we'll go over to the left first, bringing the left hip and the left shoulder toward each other, so you get a contraction through the left side body. Come back to center and over to the right side, bringing the right shoulder and hip toward each other. And then again, moving with your breath, going from side to side. Good. One more time on each side. Nice. And slowly come back to center. Walk your hands forward, tuck your toes under, and we'll go into a warm-up downward dog where you're not really focused on the full posture. You're just stretching out through all of your joints, stretching out through the backs of your legs, maybe accentuating the chest and shoulder stretch by drawing your belly toward your thighs, bending the knees, and then you can even go one shoulder and then the other. And you can also lift and lower your heels. Good. If you want to get a little bit funky, you can bring your feet together with a bend in your knees. Just make sure you get a nice firm grip with your hands to the mat. And then very carefully roll to the outer edge of your left foot, starting with bent knees and then maybe going into straight legs. Bend the knees, come back to center, over to the other side, rolling to the outer edge of the right foot, pressing back into downward dog. Just gets some different kind of fascial lines through the sides of your body. All right, come back to center and walk your feet back toward your hands, and we'll slowly roll up. Finding yourself in mountain pose at the top of your mat. And we'll go through 3 cycles of sun salutations. So I hope you feel confident with modifying through your sun salutes, and that can happen as you're warming up or just in general, or if you feel like you need to rest throughout, please go ahead and modify or rest as needed. Okay, exhale completely, arms by your side. Inhaling, raise your arms up, bring your palms together, looking to your thumbs. Exhaling to fold forward, maybe bending through the knees for this first one. Inhale, drawing in through your belly, lengthen your spine, look forward into a flat back. Exhale, palms to the floor, and jump or step back into plank, lowering all the way down. Inhale into a cobra or upward dog with the hips lifted. Exhale, tucking the toes and lifting back into downward dog and holding here for 3 breaths. Checking your fingers and thumbs are spread nice and wide. Lifting high into your hips, and then exhale, drawing down into your heels. Heels moving toward the floor, if you can, pressing the heels to the floor. And looking between your hands, jump or step your feet forward. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way up. Looking to your thumbs, reaching up. Exhale, arms down by your sides. Inhaling, reaching up. Exhaling, folding forward. Inhaling, flat back. Exhaling, folding, hands to the jump or step back, and lower down. Inhaling up into cobra or upward dog. Exhaling, lifting back into downward dog. Actively pressing into your palms, lengthening through your spine. Lifting into your hips and lengthening down into your heels. One more breath here. Exhale completely and jump or step your feet forward. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, arms by your sides. One last round. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, hands to the floor, jump or step back, lower down. Inhaling, upward dog. Exhaling, downward dog. Holding for 3. Taking your time with each breath. And exhale completely. Jump or step your feet forward. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, arms by your sides. Standing in mountain, a nice relaxed mountain. Taking a couple of breaths here. Noticing the circulation and free flow of energy throughout your body. Our joints feel nice and warmed up. Okay, so we're going to do a standing forward fold series first. We have done this already in this series. We're going to revisit again today. Please feel free to use a belt around the soles of your feet or your blocks underneath your hands. I'm going to start with the blocks and maybe progress into the belt. So I'm going to go here first. So I'll set up my blocks here, ready to forward fold into. All right, starting with your hands on your hips, feet hip distance apart, lifting up nice and tall through your spine and hinging at the hips. So here we're going into a nice deep forward fold, but you may want to ease into it first. So it's taking your hands underneath your blocks, lift and lengthen. This is also a really nice exercise for supporting your sun salutation as well. So if you've ever struggled with the experience or felt a little bit awkward in your flat back lift, pressing down into the blocks, lift and open through the chest, and you got this nice length in the spine. We want to maintain that length as much as possible as we fold forward to come into the forward fold. So pressing down into the blocks give you that lengthening in the spine, and then drawing the belly in as you hinge forward, maybe holding the toes, and come into a forward fold. And as you fold deeper, if it feels like touching your toes is not quite accessible yet, you've still got your blocks there and you can change their settings as well. And what the blocks allow you to do as well is, even if you have your blocks a little bit lower, you can still practice pressing into the blocks to give you more space and length through your spine. So as you have your hands to the blocks, it's similar experience to the hands to the floor or hands around your toes, where you're using that point as a bit of a biofeedback reference to press down into or to lengthen up away from and then draw in. So if you've got your blocks there, we've been in forward fold for quite a while already, so just take a couple more breaths here. So just experiencing the deep fold in the hips and the length through the spine. One more breath here. And now, come into a half lift. Softly bend through your knees, hands to your hips. And come up. Taking a couple of breaths here, allowing everything to balance out. Good. All right, lift, lengthen, forward folding once more. Maybe a belt around the soles of your feet or coming back to the blocks. I'm going to set the blocks aside for now. And either hands to ankles, belt, blocks, or first two fingers wrapped around your big toe. We're going to lift and lengthen flat back. And as we exhale, scoop in through your belly and draw the torso in toward your legs, just for a moment. And then when you feel the urge to inhale, you lengthen, drawing up against your toes, lengthen through the spine. And when you feel the urge to exhale, scooping in through your belly and drawing the torso in. So keeping that dynamic movement with your breath. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. And we're going to do it one last time. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. And release your hands. Soft bend in the knees, bring your hands to your hips. And come all the way back up to standing. Relax your arms by your sides. And if you like, closing your eyes, relaxing into your breath. Okay, lowering all the way down to the mat now. Extending your legs out. We're going to go into a similar movement with a seated forward fold. I'm going to use my belt for this one. So it's a similar movement, but with a different experience because your center of gravity and gravitational pull is different. So we'll take either fingertips around the big toes or gripped around your feet or even holding onto your shins, or you can utilize your belt, taking the middle of your belt around the soles of your feet and one side of your belt in each hand. Starting by getting that nice long spine experience by lifting through your lower back, your middle back, and your neck all the way into the crown of your head, flexing your toes back toward you. And then start to slowly fold forward. And working with your breath to enter into the pose. So inhaling to lengthen, exhale, folding forward. Walking your hands down your belt as you move deeper into the fold. Nice. And if you feel like you've gotten to that sweet spot where this is where you're ready to settle in, if you're still holding your belt, you can maybe prop your arms on your legs or just keep holding actively, drawing yourself down toward your legs. Alternatively, you can set the belt aside and take hold of your feet or your toes. Lift and lengthen and fold. If you're feeling like you would like a little bit more of a challenge, you're already pretty deep into the fold and you feel like you don't have much of a stretch happening in your hamstrings or through that whole posterior chain, you can create an extension to your legs by taking a block to the soles of your feet And then instead of grabbing the soles of your feet, you go for the edge of the block and then fold forward from here. And play with also scooping in through your belly to physically allow for more depth in the fold as well. So drawing in as you exhale, scooping in through the belly, giving your organs a nice internal massage. And another option to experiment with is bringing a soft bend into the knees as you fold. And if you do have tight hamstrings, this can actually be a really great way to target stretching into the hamstrings to help them release more for this forward fold. So we'll do a few more breaths here. Less instruction from me now and more you guys just settling in and exploring. Cultivating that nice internalized experience. Let's do one more breath here. And when you're ready, slowly walking your hands back up your mat, pressing yourself up to sit. Taking your hands behind you and relax. And just to really release through your legs, we'll cross the legs. Take a breath here. Okay. Setting our belt aside. And we'll take our blocks out in front just in case you want to use them. You may or may not want to use them. I'll show you how you can if you would like to add them. We're going to go into puppy pose now. So this is more of a yin restorative posture. We will be on our knees and going into a bit of a shoulder and chest opening stretch with a nice relaxed back bend. If you want to have a blanket or something underneath your knees, because we're going to be holding this position for about a minute or so, please go ahead and arrange that for yourself. So we'll walk our hands forward. And for me personally, I really like to take my time coming into puppy pose because quite a few joints go into extension and or hyperextension. So you just want to take it nice and slow. And one thing to try to cultivate as well is as you walk your hands forward, we are going to be reaching forward into our fingertips, but we also want to keep our hips stacked above our knees. So you're simultaneously reaching back into your hips, reaching forward into your fingertips, and then melting your heart down toward the floor. And this is where you drop into that beautiful heart opening, shoulder extension, reaching and lengthening into the fingertips. So it's quite strong on the shoulders. And if you feel like that isn't really stretching and you want more of a stretch, this is where you could implement the blocks, taking your hands to the blocks so you can drop down a little deeper. And placing either your forehead or your chin to the floor. And once you're settled in, coming to awareness of your breath. And seeing if you can consciously relax in between your shoulder blades. Inviting your heart center to open. And feeling your shoulders naturally lengthening and opening. And feeling your spine lengthening and that nice passive back bend. Anytime this gets too strong, a really easy way to rest is to slide your hands back and bring your hips to your heels, resting in child's pose. And then if you're ready to enter back into the posture, you can walk your hands forward, lift your hips, chest to the floor, and you're back there again. It's always good to know how to find an easy way into a rest, because sometimes you don't need to end the pose completely. You just need a breath or two relief for a moment, or release. And then your body's able to keep going for another 5 or so breaths. We'll stay here for about another 3 to 5 breaths. All right. To release out of the pose, we're going to do exactly what I just demonstrated, which is walk your hands, your arms back, lower your hips to your heels, bringing your forehead to the floor. Allow your arms to just soften out in front and come into a really relaxed, casual child's pose. We just want to allow the shoulders to soften first. And then, just allowing your circulation to balance out, we will bring our arms down by our sides, coming into child's pose. And relaxing here for about 5 breaths. Okay. Let's come up and sit on your heels for a moment. Give your shoulders a little roll, taking them back for a few circles and forward. Good. Okay, now we're going to go into some more active back bends. Coming forward onto your belly. And start by placing your elbows underneath your shoulders with your palms open and your fingers spread nice and wide. And if you like, if you're not sure about the alignment of your arms, you can take your block out in front and place your block so that your L shapes of your first finger and thumb are just nice and snug, hooked in around the block. And this gives you a little bit of a point of reference as well, that you can press down into the floor and also press laterally, so sideways into the block. And that creates the strengthening and tension support through the arms and the shoulders. So it teaches you how to activate for Sphinx pose. All right, so that's the setup. And we'll come forward, bringing our forehead down. And lengthen back into your toes. Legs are nice and long. Gently engage through your hips and your glutes. And then on your inhale, lifting your head, peeling up through the chest, pressing down into your forearms, your palms, and nice and broad and active through your chest. And feeling your spine lengthening all the way from your lower back up to your neck. Envisioning Sphinx and just giving a gentle lift through the chin and then gazing down at the tip of your nose. And breathing naturally. And exhaling to lower down, bringing our forehead back to the floor or your block. And we'll take a breath and then we'll repeat one more time. Okay, on your next inhale, press down into your palms, lift your head, lift your chest. Gently engage through your glutes, pointing your toes and reaching back into them. Breathing. One final breath here. Nice, and lower down. And come back. We'll go into a variation of child's pose. Bring your big toes together, pressing your hips back, but taking your knees wide. And reach your arms forward. I like to go onto my forearms because when I reach forward, oh yeah, that feels nice too. Child's pose has always been a bit of an awkward pose for me, for some reason. In any case, knees out wide, big toes touching, and just in a relaxed manner, reaching your arms, your hands forward, forehead resting on the mat. One more breath here. And raising your head, lifting your hips and bringing your knees together, and come forward again onto your belly. All right, another similar posture, but this time we'll go into cobra. Taking your hands underneath your shoulders this time, with your elbows working back into your ribs, and again active through your hips and reaching back into your toes. Inhale, start to lift up, broadening through your chest and visualizing your spine lengthening so you're not just folding back through the lower back area or hinging at the lower back. You're lengthening and opening through the chest. Elbows start to hug in and they have a gentle bend as you hold the pose, pressing down into your palms and taking your gaze up. So as we hold the pose, just experiment with pressing the shoulders down and feeling as if your shoulder blades are really sliding down your back toward each other. Pressing into your palms, noticing how that creates an active support, a gentle engagement through navel towards spine and squeezing through the buttocks. 2 more breaths here. Okay, inhale. And exhaling, lower down. You can bring your arms by your sides and turn your head to one side. I can't completely lie flat because it will mute my mic. Take a breath. And turn your head to the other side. Excellent. All right, we're going to lift up and back, crossing the ankles. And bring your hips to the floor, taking your legs out wide. Now taking a forward bend with our legs out wide. Walking your hands forward slowly and carefully. And then we're going to fold forward, bringing your forearms to the floor. I'm going to go side view. I usually go front view, but this time I'll go side. And you might have blocks handy. So there's a couple of things you can do with the blocks. You can have them to come forward onto so that you can really fold at the hips with a nice long spine. Or you can stack the blocks, folding forward. It's okay. Once you've reached maximum capacity of being able to hinge at the hips and fold. It is completely natural and okay to round through the spine a little. We just don't want to be executing the pose from a rounded spine. So not moving from here and kind of lurching and reaching forward. It's got to be that activation through the hips where there's a hinging forward, and then there'll be just a natural curvature as you come forward. So you might like to have your blocks underneath your head, or the blocks like so. Another option is to stack your fists on top of one another and fold forward. And here, you can also play with how it feels to turn your toes down toward the floor, just allowing your feet to flop, or to actively press your toes back. Staying here for just a few more breaths. One final breath here. And beginning to walk your hands back, your arms back. Sitting up. Take your hands underneath your legs, under your knees, and draw your knees together, giving yourself a little hug. We get to come down onto our back now. Yes. We'll practice bridge pose, and then we will be making our way into Yoga Nidra. So with your knees bent, place your feet on the floor and walk your heels in as close as feels naturally comfortable toward your hips. With your feet hip distance apart, place your arms down by your sides with your palms down. And just wiggle your shoulders down away from your ears. Lengthen through the back of your neck by just a very small, gentle tuck of your chin toward your chest. And we'll start with some pelvic tilt. So before we go into a full bridge pose, just going into a drawing in of your navel and lifting just the buttocks, just the hips, and then exhale, release down. Navel drawing in, scoop through the pelvis, press down through your feet, and just gently lift your hips, and then exhale, release. Just do that a few more times. One last time. Exhale. All right, so that's the action that we want to lead with. Actively press down into your palms, because as you press into your palms and your forearms, it'll help you to create more lift when we go into full bridge. But lifting, tucking the pelvis, lifting the hips, and slowly lifting up one vertebra at a time, starting by bringing your hips just to make an angle of your body so your hips are aligned with your knees and your shoulders. Breathe there for a moment. Now actively lift higher, pressing down into your feet and palms. Lifting through your sternum, pressing down big toes to the floor, pressing down evenly through your feet. Staying here if that feels like it's far enough, or further still, interlocking your hands and drawing your shoulder blades together so you're actually propped up on the fleshy part of your shoulders, and then press down into your feet, press down into your forearms, lifting higher. The hips are lifting. You're lifting through your sternum, feeling your chest naturally move toward your chin. And if you're lucky, if you have the mobility or just the general structure, you might be able to bring your chest in contact with your chin, which creates this beautiful compression through our thyroid glands. And just trying to create a nice even flow of your breath, flowing all throughout your body. I'm going to hold here for 5 more breaths. So see if you can press down into your feet again, like recommitting to the pose as you start to fatigue. Lifting a little higher, keep breathing evenly. Feeling that invigoration. 2 more breaths. Press and lift. All right, on your next exhale, release your hands, release your shoulders, and slowly lower your spine 1 vertebra at a time. And your hips are the last to come down. Straighten your legs and relax. Take a breath. Turn your palms up and notice how your body feels. Witnessing all the sensations occurring. And as a gentle counter pose, bending your legs, bringing your knees in toward your chest, hugging your knees in. And up to you with your favorite way to give a nice little gentle stretch through your lower back, whether you just want to hug your knees in or if you want to make some circles with your knees. Totally up to you. Just listening to your body and responding. Nice. Okay. Lower your feet to the floor. Straighten your legs. Turn your palms up. We're going to go into Shavasana now. So if you would like to implement any props, please go ahead and make yourself comfortable. And then when you are comfortable in Shavasana, taking a moment here at the end of your practice to notice how your mind and body feel. Just reflecting on, could you feel the internal experience of, as you folded forward and held those deep, long forward folds, did it start to bring you inwards? Did it kind of close down the noise? And as you lifted and lengthened into some of the back bending movements, did you notice yourself feeling enlivened and things felt a little invigorating? And just knowing that we can add these kinds of practices to our day to help us create a bit of balance. On days when you need more energy, you can do some back bending. On days when you need to ground and calm, you can do some more forward bending. Settling yourself completely. Coming to the end of the effort component of our practice. Now resting in ease, just maintaining a gentle effort of awareness and consciousness as you relax. And as I guide you through the body scan or guided relaxation, just think of it as having your own personal, intimate conversation with your body, where you're consciously inviting each part of your body to relax, inviting it to move into a relaxed, disarmed, calm state. And starting by taking your awareness all the way down to the soles of your feet. Relaxing from the balls of your feet, down through the inner arches, outer arches, and the pads of your heels. Relaxing your big toes all the way down to your little toes. And feeling your heels to be heavy as they rest against the floor. Relax and soften into your ankles. And relax and soften into your calf muscles. Your shins are heavy and your knees are relaxed. Relax your thighs, from the tops of your thighs to your inner thighs, outer thighs, and your hamstrings. Relax your left hip and your right hip. Relaxing all the way from the front of your hip, back and around to all the fleshy parts of the posterior part of your hips, your glutes. And feeling both of your hips, your whole pelvis, to be heavy and relaxed. Softening into your belly. And feeling the sides of your torso as if they're melting down toward the floor. And visualizing all of your internal organs resting in your abdominal region to be relaxed. Softening them, allowing them to relax. Relaxing into your chest. Relax your ribs and all the muscles in between each rib. And relax into your lungs. Softening into your heart center, both on a physical level and on a more subtle level. Moving your awareness up to your shoulders, feeling your collarbones broadening and releasing. Relax your lower back, your middle back, your upper back, and your neck. Feeling both of your arms to be heavy and relaxed. Your entire torso soft, heavy, and relaxed. Your head is heavy and your face is soft. Relax your mouth and relax your jaw. Your entire body is heavy and relaxed. You feel completely supported by the earth beneath you. Nothing else to do and nowhere else to be, just rest. We'll finish up our practice with some kirtan, singing the mantra Gauranga. So in a typical setting, I'd sing it through twice, and then it would be your turn to sing through twice, and we'd have this call and response back and forth. But because it's online, I'll just sing the whole way through, and you guys join in as you feel comfortable. You can listen and sing, or just sing the whole time, totally up to you. The main thing is that you're taking this beautiful sacred mantra right into your heart, opening your heart to the sacred sound. Gauranga, 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 Gauranga. One last time. Gauranga, 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 Gauranga. Okay, just allowing the mantra to resonate through your mind and heart. And if you're still laying down, wiggling your fingers and toes, waking up your body, and rolling over onto your left side and coming up to sit. And we'll close off our practice by bringing our palms together in prayer position, bowing our heads to each other, and bowing our heads once more to offer our respects to the Supreme Soul. Namaste. Thank you so much for coming to practice. Lovely to share it
Namaste.
with you. Thank you.